A while ago I actually posted some pictures of this building, Welcome Wench, one that had Park Scratch built, and well, lower off is actually a kit that I actually you know, modified and made up to get this lovely in for our D&D games. Now on that posting, somebody actually said about putting a video on. Now you'll have to forgive me because this is my first one and I'm actually doing video on my phone, so it might be a little bit wobbly. Okay, I can't actually start this from scratch, so what I'm going to do, I'm going to show you a different building, what I've got, and basically what I've done so far, and then if I remember, I'll try and do bits as I go along. So it's a little bit like a tutorial and a little bit like this is what I've done. Alright, so just bear with me a second. Right, so this is basically a sheet that I got off the kit. Basically it's TT Combats Wild West Scenics, and it's a stable. Now this does actually have all the internal details, you know, such as stalls and stuff, but how I'm going to make it, I'll make it up, but I'm also going to detail it as well. So it's not going to be exactly as to kit, but sort of. So I mean, if you want to get one of these, there's a guy called Troll Trader on eBay, and I've never had any problems with him. He's really quick to deliver, and to be quite honest, the kits that you can get from him are fantastic. There's quite a lot of these MDF kits. Now personally I don't like them just an MDF kit painted, as you can see with Welcome Wench that I showed you at the start of the video. I do like to put my own touch on them, so here goes. The kits themselves are actually cut out on 3mm MDF, as you can see there, and they are cut through laser via a laser, but there is a little tab, so I'd suggest going down with a sharp knife. I mean, me myself personally, I use one of these, and I've always used one of these. It's a scalpel. All quick safety tip is just be careful. I mean, I've nearly took end of my finger off before now with one of these because they are surgical scalpels, so obviously very sharp. Right, so as you can see, I mean, that's part where I've punched some out, which you'll see in a second, and that's another piece, and we've also got the roof section here. The base section, you're going to see that in a second. Okay, so give me a sec while I just change over again. Right, so this is the stable section. I mean, I only remembered about the actual video when I'd actually started this, so I do apologise. Now, this here on the base is something I do use basically for slate floors. I use it in Welcome Wench in as well, but it does make a really nice stone floor once it's all painted up. Now, that is actually this stuff. Give me a second. As you can see, this is basically wallpaper, but it's like a leather look. So if you see the pattern, when you dry brush, it really pulls that out and it makes it look like stone cobbles, etc. So it's really good for these sort of buildings. I've got all sorts of different stuff like this laying about. What I get, and that I actually found in B&Q, and basically rather than get a full roll, I took a nice big offcut sort of thing. So, you know, just a sample. Don't see point in buying a big roll, but like I say, it's leather look. As you can see there, it's these fake stitching sort of thing, but it's really good wallpapers and stuff, to be quite honest, when you know, scratch building, or if you're even just modifying a kit like this. They do come in handy. Now the other thing that I've done is I've actually cut all these holes out, glued it first with PVA, glued it down. Make sure you always put something heavy on top. I mean, I turn it over so it's like that, and then, you know, just put some heavy books on it or whatever till it dries. PVA usually takes about, what, a few hours, about 5-6 hours, and it's basically that stuff that you used to put on your fingers at school when I was a kid, and we used to peel off once it had dried, and we used to have a lot of fun doing it, but hey ho. Right, Now after I'd actually glued this in, I mean it does say use PVA for the actual building itself to put it together. Myself, I use this Gorilla Glue. Now it is expensive super glue, but to be honest, with the amount of glues I've used super glue wise, this is the best. Don't get it on your fingers, it'll stick them in no time whatsoever. So right, the walls, they were punched out using scalpel, and basically as you can see here, I think just where I've just scraped it off a little bit just to smooth it off and make it level ready for other piece that actually bonds on top. Now I don't know if you can pick it up or try it yet. Right, so as you can see, I mean I've numbered all these pieces of plastic card what I've actually put on it, basically to give it more wall texture and make it look a little bit more realistic once it's got paint on it and it's been dry brushed up. Now the corners, I mean this one, it's not joined very good, but I can always camouflage that, which you'll actually see when I've actually gone further on building. Some others, you know, like that one, that's not too bad. I might actually get away with just putting another little bit of glue on and shoving it really in. And that corner is how it should be. I mean I were rushing, so that's that, but it does actually give a nice all-round stone texture. Okay, now that is basically plastic card. Now if you don't know what plastic card is, this is a piece that I've actually used, but it's basically A4 sized, and you can get it from your normal hobby shops. I mean I use a hobby shop that I've used for many years to get my stuff from, and you know, you can buy it in A4 sheets like I say, and there's all different textures. So I mean you've got this one, there's a dressed stone one, there's all sorts of brick, basically any sort of stone or brickwork that you want, even wood, planking, that sort of thing, you know, pavement, stones, all sorts. So there's loads of things at your local hobby shop that you can actually use for enhancing these sort of buildings. I mean, for years I've always scratch built rather than actually using this sort of kit. For the simple reason is you know, I have plenty of time on my hands, but what we work and etc. Time's not as how can I put it? Not as abundant as what I'd like it to be, what we married life and having to do things for missus etc, as well as sorting gardens out. So this is basically what I do at the moment. If there is anything I really do need to scratch build, then I will scratch build it. There's no problem with that. I mean, this is one that I've been working on as well. This is a different kit. It's from a different guy off eBay. I think I got 6 buildings for about £22, which weren't bad. It gave me the basic shape, and all I've done is just enhanced them. I mean, like the door, I took the original door out, and I don't know if you can see all the detail on that, but I've actually, you know, done all the door on it, etc. Windows are already pre-cut, so all I'll do is put some clear perspex plastic, well, yeah, plastic card on there that'll be clear, and that'll do the windows. But I'll do that on the inside, because on the outside, when you're actually looking at the board and you've got these sort of buildings knocking about, you know, they do look better with the windows on the inside rather than, you know, putting the glazing on the outside. One of the biggest ball aches I find is the tiles. Now, how I do my tiles, just give me a second. Sorry about it wobbling about, but I've got it in my hand. Basically I do big strips of these. Now these are some offcuts that I've used. Basically all it is, a piece of card, you know, just a fairly lightweight gauge. You can use birthday cards, I've used them before in past, Christmas cards, anything like that, as long as it's not glittery. And the pattern itself, I mean, this has got a pattern on, but it's only printed, it's not actually punched into the paper. So if you get that sort of thing, basically try working around where they've actually punched a pattern on it, because when you paint it on, it'll stick out like a sore thumb. But that's what I do. cut quite a lot of them out, and basically just glue them on section by section. Just make sure that you serrate them so that they don't match up bang on, so that you've got lines going down like that. They'll, like a normal brick wall pattern type thing. And once they're painted up, etc., they do quite well. Now, give me a second, I'm just going to put you on pause a sec. Right, so this one is exactly the same as the other building. The only difference is I've done different things to it. Instead of putting the woodwork around it, what I've done is actually put that stone on. And as you can see, painted up, dry brushed, it does look really nice. Flocked it, put a bit of bushing around the corners just to disguise some really crappy edges of my cutting. I mean, eyesight's not as good as what it used to be, so just disguises it. And then there we go, we've got the door, which I replaced, because the doors that come with these ones are, give me a second, I like this, plain boring, so got rid of them, don't use them, and made my own, which is basically excuse me, balsa wood. And to get the actual lines down here, I'm just gently scored with a pencil, and then the actual cross members, again another piece of thin balsa. Door handle, I've cheated there, I've just used a bit of balsa wood, but usually I use head of a pin with a little bit of the metal on it. Obviously cut down with a pair of pliers, and then just basically pushed in with a bit of glue on end. Same goes with the chimney. Stuck the chimney on. That's made out of balsa wood, again covered in the stone plastic card, and just on the top here is basically a bit of sand put on with PVA, let to dry. Used an old brush to put the first coat on a black, because it does go all over the place, because obviously we've been mixed with PVA. When you add something liquid, the PVA starts to go back to its own state, but once it's dry with the paint, it's rock hard. Now, as with all the buildings that I've messed about with, it does have a lift off roof. Now, the fireplace that's in here I've actually built myself. It didn't actually come with a kit. Now, those holes in the wall there, they actually come in the kit itself. Basically that part and that part are two separate things and basically glued together. I did it like that so that I could actually put this fireplace in. Let's see if I can get a bit of a close up of that. Just bear with me a sec. There we go. So that's all painted and put a bit of black round for soot, etc. But that were all scratch built, that, as was the bottom part. All this here, all this round here, that were all done. And again, that's that wallpaper. And you see what I mean? It does look quite good when it's dry brushed up. I mean, that's basically being rushed. Glazing, you can see here. I mean, you could actually paint around it, but to be quite honest, I'm not messing about like that. It does its job. So, I mean, that's one of the other pieces of kit that I got from that guy that I said I got 6 buildings from for 22 quid. And again, he were on eBay, so it's quite easy to find. If I can remember his name, I'll tell you. They're not very good. They're not as good as the TT Combat ones. They are really excellent, and there's another firm that also does buildings. Point out as well, Troll Trader, when you're buying the buildings, he actually does free postage in the UK, which is fantastic. It does work out a little bit more expensive for overseas, but to be quite honest, the kits themselves, when they, if you take your time and go to town on them, they do look really nice. So just bear with me a second, I'm just going to change over and show you a different kit. Okay, so again, this is another TT Combat one, I think, which is the blacksmiths. Now again, I've put balsa wood on there on top of the actual kit piece, basically for the simple reason I like that finish mixing with the roof. I mean, this is still a part work. I get them to a certain stage, then I leave them, start on something else, basically so that I can get quite a few up to the same level of completion, and then, you know, just finish them all off with flock and messy stuff afterwards. So this Tudor style stuff was already on. It also had a few bits and pieces of detail, such as this, where it's actually put onto the paintwork, which, you know, I do advise painting up and making a really good job. And then what I did here, again, I did the MDF, I did the PVA with the sand, put that on, let that dry, and then carefully went in with black paint when I did all this, and then gently brushed it up using a brown, and then like a fawnish type brown, bringing it right up to white, so it gives it that little bit of weathering type on it. Again, did the same with the coals on the furnace for the outdoor smithy's furnace, and as you can see, you know, there's more detailing. Chimney pots are to go on. Now you get these with the kit, which is basically to make chimney pots with. Now it's a type of plastic. I'm not too sure if it'll take paint too well, so I'll try with that. If not, I'll actually make my own, because they're not difficult to make. Just a bit of plastic tubing, again, that you can get from your local model store. These, I think, they're just beads what they've put in, with some round cut tops for chimneys. So I'll try them, see what they go, but they do fit on top of this area here, which I've not done as yet because I've still got a fair bit to do on the building itself, but I'm not going to get them knocked off, that sort of thing. But when they do go on, they'll get put on with Gorilla Glue, and again, this PVA and sand mix. I would suggest building sand rather than rough sand, because it has got, as you can hear as I'm rubbing my hand on it, it does have a rough feeling to it, but you don't want it too sharp and rough, because otherwise it's just going to look out of scale when you put your minis up to it. Okay, so again, you can see, you know, the glazings on the inside of the windows, etc. I think you can just see the reflection, and that's the other side with the big gates. Again, I've actually made these up. I've not used the ones in the kit itself. Another door, a bit more detailing, and then the side itself. Now this one, again, this roof pops off, so I'll just give me a second while I just take it off. I don't know whether I'm going to be able to get it up. Yeah, it's coming off. So, right on my knee. So this is the inside. So again, you've got another furnace. Okay, now there's a few bits and pieces I'm going to put in here, like you know, coal, that sort of thing, and basically detail it up. But it gives you an idea. The actual coals that's in there, I mean, it's like these. I'm a chuff for saving stuff, but as you can see in here, these little square blocks. Now all I've done is basically just glued a load of them in using PVA, painted it black, and then basically gone with a bright yellow, gone over lightly dry brushing with a red, which, there you go, and then finishing off with a black. Now I'm tempted to actually put a little light hint of grey on there, but I'm not too sure, because every furnace I've seen that a blacksmith's actually been using, or you know, somebody's been metal working on a proper furnace, where it's being cold, they've got the bellows going, etc., and all you see is like yellow, white, black, and red, and that's about it. The grey of the coals is something like you get on the on local barbecue or something. But yeah, I mean, further on to inside, again, you've got this. This does actually come in the kit, and it's also got the banister and the steps there, which is a nice piece, which I'm thinking of actually putting some armoury racks up there for basically what the smith's done. Underneath is for like barrels and that, so you know, he's actually made some hoops and made some barrels up as well. I mean, yeah, a blacksmith won't normally do that, but in a small village, you know, as you probably know, craftsmen will multitask, so that's a smithy. Okay. So, just in case any of you haven't seen these before, I mean, this is from Sarissa Precision, as you can see up in the top corner. This has got 3 stalls and table sets for a marketplace. Now, I have actually got some market stall pieces that I bought off eBay from a chap in France, and bought these, which is basically the stall itself, made out of a lightweight resin. Just glue that bit on top, and away you go. You also get these things. Just give me a second. Right, so you also get these type of things. Now, these 4 different ones that I've got. I've actually got 6 of them. But there's anything from like baskets of fruit. You've also got, where are we? I should have been a bit more prepared, to be honest. You've got these, which is like veggies and stuff like that, and you've also got these, which are miscellaneous magic items and things. You know, you've got your barrels, you've got potion bottles, there's all sorts of lovely little pieces, scrolls. So now these you don't see very often, and when I see them, I pick them up as quick as I can, snap them up, because this is actually metal. But like I say, for a market stall, they're brilliant. You can make your own. I mean, some of these, like this, for this wooden kit, I'll be making rolls of cloth and things like that to actually go on. And plus, there's quite a few different miniatures manufacturers that do bits and pieces that you can do, such as urns, jars, that sort of thing, and just pop them on, so it just fills it out, gives a bit more atmosphere for a market scene sort of thing for your RPGs. So that's one of them. Now that's one from their south of the border range, which is a cowboy range, the buildings that they do. But if you're anything like me, you'll see something and think, yeah, that'll do for that. You know, so it gives you different stalls for your marketplace, that sort of thing. Okay. Right, so next one, again back to TT Combat, from the glorious Troll Trader. I got this, which is basically from their sci-fi gothic range, but it's a mausoleum. So 3 guesses for what I'm going to be using that for. But these sort of things, you know, I mean, if I get quite a lot of replies to this actual video, I will actually show how to build it and what I do with it, sort of thing. Same as with any of these buildings. Another one here from TT Combat, again, Troll Trader, Old Town Scenics. Now I'm thinking about actually using this for Gilmore Store. Could be quite interesting, as it is actually, you know, a large store. So I'm thinking Gilmore, before he got his original store done in by the Dragons, this is one that he could have actually built in a town or something. I'm going to do a couple of different signs. Obviously I'm going to have Gilmore's sign. It's just got to be done, hasn't it? I mean, Matt Gilmore's just a star, to be quite honest. Always makes me grin when they bump into Gilmore. But you know, for quite a few different things, such as a village main store, that sort of thing, that's fine. That's fine. Again, it is like a Western type thing, but you know, all I'm going to do is alter it. Again, if you're interested in seeing more of these type videos where I'm actually building stuff, then just let me know in comments, and you know, I'll see what I can do. Okay. So I'm just basically going through and filling in a bit, because like I say, I've been a bit naughty and started that with the building. So I'll show you what sort of things I've got for my workbench. There's this one. This is from, again, TT Combat. This is from their Venice Scenics, which, to be quite honest, some of them are beautiful, and I mean really beautiful. Again, there's a lot of scope for what you can do with these. I mean, this is the chapel. You know, I needed a small chapel for my village. This is going to be it, because I just couldn't be asked to scratch build one from scratch, because like I say, we work constraints and that. I've got to be quick on what I'm doing so as I can actually get it done for games. Okay, so that's that. I mean, that is quite a big kit, you know, and you know, something like this, if you've never done it before, I wouldn't advise getting it something as big as this. Get one of the smaller ones. I mean, the buildings start around about, for the small little buildings, you're looking around about anything from a £5 to about £8. And like I say, with Troll Traders free postage on eBay, you know, it's a bargain. Really is a bargain, and it's a good way of actually learning how these kits go together. And hopefully, I mean, if I do make any more videos, you'll see some stuff and you know, get inspired by it, because I'm always up for sharing ideas with other modelers and painters and gamers and that sort of thing. Okay, now the next building I'm going to show you is this. Now this is a beautiful piece of work, and I've got quite a few ideas for this. It is an English timber frame manor house, and this is going to be the squire's house from our village. Let me just pull that out. Now it is quite a complex kit, and again, not for a beginner. Like I say, I've been making these sort of things from scratch, as well as making kits and stuff, since I was a young lad, and now I'm grey-haired and getting a bit long in tooth, but I've had quite a bit of experience building these things. Now, as you can see, these are the instructions, quite concise, how to build, etc., and you know, detailed, etc. But even with plans like this, you've got to think on your feet, because not everything fits together as you want it to do. So follow the instructions, but you know, like I say, this is not for a beginner. So I mean, that's the other stuff as it goes. Now, anybody that is interested in doing this and is quite a competent modeler, there's quite a lot of scope for what you can do with it, such as like with detailing the fireplaces, etc. I mean, this I'm actually thinking about putting like type carpet things in. Definitely going to be putting wallpaper in, like I did in the bottom floor of the Welcome Wench, as anybody that's seen the pictures will have seen. I might actually do a short video with a tour around Welcome Wench, actually, when it's all completed and fitted out, so you can actually see one of the large buildings that's actually finished. Again, you know, it is a really large kit, and I've known some people have some problems with it, putting it together, because of how complex it is and how it goes together. And when you're dealing with things like super glue, trying to get it done, and you're trying to get it done quickly, unless you know what you're doing, you know, you're going to make an upcock, basically. So that gives you an idea, and that's basically how it all fits together and comes apart when you're actually gaming. Now with this, little do my players know it, and I hope they don't decide to start watching this, I'm actually thinking of doing a bottom floor, which I'm going to be using a product called Kingspan. Now Kingspan is basically like a foam, but it's, how can I explain it? It's a bit like polystyrene, but it's more intense. You can detail it really well, and basically what I'm going to be doing is putting this on a hillside with like a small dungeon underneath it, just to start, and then, you know, well, basically the cellars before it actually goes into the dungeon, and maybe have a tunnel flying off towards the mausoleum. So yeah, I think people's minds might be actually ticking over as to how I'm thinking as to what I'm going to be doing with this. So, but yeah, it's going to be an interesting build. That I am saving this till I've got quite a bit more time, because obviously, like I say, I'm constrained. I might do it little by little. If I do, and like I say, people's interested, I might do a build on it and let you see how I go on, because I will be changing this kit. That's without a doubt. Putting a bit more detail on it, because I don't want these things like this showing. You know, that's a bit of a no-no for me. And I might actually do something on here with the top probably might put a few statues on there or something if I can pick up some nice little minis, some gargoyles or something like that, which would be quite interesting, I think. But like I say, it all comes apart, and that's how I like to do my gaming. It was a bit hard in the actual write-up when I was trying to explain, you know, what I'd done and this, that and the other on the Welcome Wench. I'm not really much of an explicit sort of like talking person. I rather do things and people watch as I'm doing it rather than actually talk, because you know, I just forget what I'm wanting to say, or can't think of what I'm wanting to say. But no, like I say, these are what I've got on the bench. I've got a few other bits and pieces that's sort of like semi-finished, and also some finished items, like you've just seen one of them. And you know, if you want more videos like this, give us a like, put it in comments, and I'll see what I can do for you. So anyway, it's been long enough. It's been nearly half an hour, bloody heck. So I'm going to let you all go. So speak to you soon. Bye.